And welcome to part 25. I would like to say that this will be the final video in this series, but I'm not quite 100% sure yet. We'll see how far we get. This segment I'm going to cover a basic walk cycle and maybe, if there's time, a few just different animations. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and clear out all of my bone movements. There we go. Pull this out here, pop into the action editor, and I'm going to hit that so I hide all that. I don't need it. Hit the little up and down arrows here. I'm going to add a new action, and let's call this walk. Okay. Now, I don't need that anymore, so I'm going to kill that. I'm going to go ahead and put him in sort of in mid-stride, basically. Go ahead and bend his fingers a little bit. Actually, I need to turn on my... Actually, I need to show my... if I can split my screen here. It's not want to let me split it. Over here, maybe? Split that, and then merge. Join areas, there we go. Boom. Alright, now. Timeline. Okay. And go ahead and hit the automatic keyframe insertion. Add and replace keys. Okay. And I'll go ahead and move this again so I get a keyframe for it right there. And I want to scale the fingers down and just kind of give it a limp, loose hand there. Okay, and then the thumb. Okay, now let's copy all of that. I want to turn off that other layer there so I don't have to worry about those fingers. So I don't want to actually add any keyframes to them. I just want to add keyframes to the controllers. There we go. And now I want to go ahead and hide that so it's out of the way. Pull this over. Copy that frame and paste it in the mirror. So now we got both arms hanging exactly the same. Okay. Now, I guess let's go into side view and let's grab. So my shapes are turned off. And turn those back on. There we go. And let's start his left foot out with the heel. Go and grab the hips and move those down too, so my foot isn't stretching out past that. Go ahead and knock his heel down to the ground. There we go. And this foot, just move it back. It's going to be starting to roll up on the toe there. Just use a global axis on this one. Okay. Then grab his hip and move it down a little bit. There we go. And grab the left arm. It's going to be swinging back. And just move that elbow out some. Rotate this hand around. Kind of give him a sort of a floppy hand so he's more cartoonish that way. Okay. And pop into the other side. Control 3 pops you into the other side view. Hit this hand around. Front of it a little bit. So it'll help add some realism to his gait, if you will. Okay, so we got the basic first pose done. Now let's go forward about 5 frames. Zoom in some. Actually, that was on frame 4, so I want to grab all of those keyframes I just made and in my action editor drag them all the way back to frame 1. So get them lined up as evenly as I can, and I want to go key snap to nearest frame, and it snaps them to 1. So now actually, you know what, I'm going to put those on 0. Even though my timeline won't go back to 0, it starts at 1. This will help me keep track of even numbers, so like 0, 5, 10, etc., rather than 1, 6, 11. This helps keep things more orderly. Okay, so go ahead and snap those to the nearest frame again, just in case they were off a little bit. Now let's go to frame 5. Back to side view. And this one, he's going to be coming up a little bit, and the left foot's going to be snapping down and kind of coming underneath him a little bit. And the other foot is going to be even further back, rolling even further on the toe, and actually the toe itself is going to be rolling up a little bit. Actually, let's roll it back some. Okay, this arm's just swing back just a little bit more. Flop that hand back a little further. This arm's swinging. Actually, you know what? This arm needs to start coming down. And I've got to come out to the side a little bit, or he's going to go through his body, and we don't want that to happen. So this hand's going to be coming back some. And since it's kind of floppy, it's going to be going kind of starting to go up a little bit, like it's flopping as he's swinging his arm. Okay, let's go ahead and straighten these hips out a little bit. And one thing I forgot to do when I was rigging, we can set the head to, if you see this down here in your editing area, you can select hinge, and you can move the body however you want. The head's not going to rotate, so that's handy for walk cycles, so you don't have to rotate the head to match up every time. Okay, so let's see what we got so far. Okay, let's start swinging this back now, so there's a reason for that flop. This one coming forward. Okay. And let's go ahead and add another keyframe on this elbow, and let's grab one here. I like to add keyframes for everything that's going to have any keyframes at all. I like to try to keep it orderly and make sure everything has a keyframe on every segment of frames. So grab that one, move it down to 0. There we go. But since we're not going to be doing anything else with the fingers, I don't really need to add any keyframes for those. So that's the only thing missing. Okay. So pop back to side view. And let's go up to frame 10. This foot is now global view. When I switch to global view, so the foot stays lined up perfectly with the floor, and I use normal view when I'm rotating it, or rotating anything that's not touching the floor or something else solid. So that's why I keep switching back between global and normal, just so you know. Okay, now this foot's going to start coming underneath him. This one's now leaving the ground, and with that, go ahead and switch to normal. Okay. And it's starting to come underneath him. This arm's kind of coming forward a little more. That hand's not swinging, flopping that far back now. Oh, way too much there. Let's get that elbow pointing back behind him again. Okay, this hand is going to be about the middle of him. And that's flopping way too much now too. Make sure it's not going through his body. Nope. Looks like his thumb might, so let's go ahead and rotate that out. Bring it out some. And go ahead and okay. You know, it runs a little faster if you turn off the subsurf. It doesn't look as pretty, but you can run your animation a little faster. See? Okay, frame 15. Where's everything go? Where'd everything go? Let's go. Oh, I don't have anything selected. There we go. Okay. And before I go to frame 15, back to 10. And like I said, I want to give everything a keyframe that needs it. The head, since it's got that a hinge, now I don't really need to rotate it each time. I can actually go ahead and get rid of that and just rotate it to be straight. Get rid of that bent rotation. There we go. So now it should stay straight the whole time. Okay. And this elbow right, need to move it some. Okay. Okay, now frame 15. And go into side view. This foot's going to keep going back. Global. It's going to start rotating up. Actually, yeah, that's fine. Start rotating up onto its toe. And he's coming up even higher. And this foot is going to start swinging forward. This hand's going to start coming more forward. And this hand's going to be going more to the rear. Straighten out those elbows. Since that's the first time I put a keyframe on that foot, left foot rotator, it kept it the whole time, if that makes any sense. Once you only put one keyframe, that's the pose that bone is going to be in until you change it. So that's the first time I rotated that, so okay. It looks like his hips need to come up a little higher on frame 10. Let's grab those. And it screwed up his right arm, so let's fix that. There we go. Yeah, that's looking good. A little shaky. Spine is a little weird. Actually, you know what? We can put a hinge on the chest as well. Yeah, that'll help out. Let's go ahead and get rid of all these guys. And go ahead and get rid of that one too. Straighten him up a little. And move him over to the 0. Yeah. Okay. Almost done with the first footstep, and then when that's over, we're a long ways along. So then we can just what's our first key? Yeah. Okay. Now this foot's swinging forward. And this one's a little further back. Starting to rotate up. And his hips are starting to come down again. His arms starting to plop back behind him. So I'm starting to come up in front of him. Straighten those elbows out. Okay, is that it? Chest and spine. Let's do that. Okay, now we've pretty well got what we need. So what I'm going to do is go back, grab all my keyframes now, and just move them up one frame. Key snap to nearest keyframe, so I can see what I'm doing a little better. Actually, I'm going to undo that. I don't want to do that yet, because I don't really need to. Yes, I do. Sorry if I'm confusing you. I need to have all these keyframes where I can move the time scrubber, timeline scrubber, to where I can put it on those frames now. And I want to select everything, well, all of these anyways, all of these that, can I just select, there, I just hit A and it selects all of them. Okay, copy all of those keyframes. Now let's go up to frame, let's see, this is what, 21, let's go up to 26 and paste the opposite. So now you can see that it completed that step. Boom, and we can go through and just keep doing this until it's created a loop. So now we'll copy those, go up to frame 31, paste the opposite, and go up to 11, copy, 36, paste opposite, 16, copy, 41, paste the opposite, and 21, copy, 246, paste the opposite, and I believe now we can just copy the very first frame, go up to frame 51, and just hit paste. Don't paste opposite this time, just hit paste. And that completes the loop. So now we're on frame 51. If we make our timeline only 51 frames, just scroll out where you can see what's going on, hit play, it's going to have a little walk cycle. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. Okay. And now if you want to have him, well, we created a walk cycle loop, which is what we want. Excuse me. We named it walk. So now if we want to actually apply it to the scene, we can either just keep it like that, but if you want to do more than one action during the scene, like say you want him to walk and then like move his head around looking around or something like that, you need to use the NLA editor. So what we need to do now is, it's showing you that there's keyframes on this armature and it's called walk is the keyframes. So we need to add a action strip though, and the only one we have to add is walk, and that adds it right there. Hit N to bring up your transform properties. Grab that, it's already grabbed, okay, and we wanted to repeat it a few times. So now it's going to repeat it 6 times up until frame 300. And just go ahead and make that 300. That'll be roughly 10 seconds if you're going by 30 frames per second. And if you notice, since we copied that one frame, at the very end, we copied the frame from the first and put it at the end. So when it loops, it basically does that frame twice. and it looks kind of stuttery sometimes. So what we want to do is we want to go all the way up to that very last frame, all the way up to it, but we don't want to use it. We want to cycle all the way back to the very first one. So it's like a clock. When you get to 59 seconds, it doesn't go to 60, it goes to 0. So that's exactly what we want to do. So you do that by saying strip start. That's not right. Let's see. Action end. That's where we want. Starts at 1.04. Basically, it starts at frame 1, ends at frame 51. So unlock it and change 51 to 50. And there we go. Now if we lock it, no, it puts it back to 51. So just 50. Okay. So now it's not going to repeat that frame. It's just going to cycle right on through there a lot more smoothly. So let's see. Not too bad. Kind of got that floppy-handed walk. Okay. Let's see. Let's speed it up a little bit. I want him to walk a little faster. I'm sure when this was rendered out, it would probably look better. You know what? I'll show you that. I'll show you how to do a quick preview render of what you're looking at. We don't want that. Let's move the camera. Actually, we don't even need the camera for a preview render. Let's just kind of get the scene set up so we can see things pretty well. Okay, now go down into your scene button, F10 on your keyboard. I like to see everything I'm doing, so I'm just going to go ahead and align this to the horizontal. There we go. And right here where it says TMP, that's our output location. So I'm just going to put it in the same folder that I have my model in. I'm going to name it testwalk001.mpg select. I like to use the FFmpeg format when I'm exporting a video. 720 is a little too big for just a preview, so I'm going to knock that down to 400 by 300. Go. And okay, now when you hold down this little button right here, kind of just does a quick shot of your scene, so you can like save out a picture of it if you want to show people your rig setup or something like that. So that's nice. That works fine. You can also do that for video. So you just hold down Control and you click that, and it kind of renders your scene, and it'll render the whole thing and save it to where you named it in the output down here. So it's going to be testwalk001. I could look it up on my computer or just hit play down here, and it should bring it up and play it. There we go. You see, he's walking kind of just a nice nonchalant walk, which that's about a good speed for just a nice walk. But I want to do it a little faster, and the way you do that is you grab that action strip and you go to scale. Now this kind of works mathematically, or how can I explain this? It's a multiplier of how many frames it's going to take up. So basically, if it's scaled to 1, it's going to take up 100% of the frames. Okay. If it's scaled to 2, it's going to take up 200% of the frames. So that means it's going to take twice as long. So we want it to take not twice as long, not half as long, but let's say 3/4, 75%. So let's go 0.75 right there. And it makes it a little shorter. So now when he walks, he's a little bit faster. Got a little bit more pep in his step, if you will. Let's go ahead and do a preview render of that. Control, click the little, I guess it's rendering a little faster than it's going to be playing now. Okay, it's done. Go ahead and pause our scene and just hit play down there again. Brings it up over here. That's not too bad. Okay, so that's how you do a walk cycle. And I guess I'm out of time. Maybe I'll do a 25B. I was wanting to keep this series in 25 easy steps, but it looks like I'm going to go over 25. But that's okay. More bang for your buck, or whatever they say. Anyways, okay, so that's all for now. I guess if I do a part 26, I probably will. We'll just go into some more typical animations rather than just a walk cycle. Okay, I'll see you then.